What's up everyone, and welcome back to the Bold and the Beautiful 24 official channel. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button today. Let's get started. Grace is confronted by a furious Finn, and Eric presses the panic button regarding Nick's potential proposal. Grace hides her tracks in the Bold and the Beautiful. Nick and Brooke get ready for an adventure, and Finn's suspicions are kept from Bill and Liam. Brooke tells Ridge that she is waiting for Nick in Italy. Ridge finally takes this opportunity to apologize for being a jerk when she took over as CEO. He was wrong and never intended to hurt her. They demonstrate that they will always love one another. "Is that all you came here to say?" she coaxes. Brooke repeats, "What do you really want to tell me?" as she leans in. The way Nick appears. Brooke follows him as he giggles about their plans to spend the day together. Eric answers a call from Donna, who misses her honey bear, in a suite. He immediately begins to lament Nick Marone's arrival with an agenda and an engagement ring. The fact that Brooke was seen kissing him shocks Donna in some way. She directs her husband to immediately locate Ridge. Brooke and Nick, on the other hand, eat gelato as they explore Naples. When Ridge shows up, he's agitated. Eric learns Brooke went off with Brooke and rants about time running out. He warns Nick that he will propose. Nick shows Brooke his boat in the harbor, and they get ready to go on an adventure. Nick tells Brooke that everything is fine when he checks the boat's readiness using his phone. "Merely the two of us." Finn grows more suspicious. Liam has moved to the couch and the head bandage is back at Bill's house. He hears from his father that he is so glad he will be okay. Finn arrives with a doctor bag in hand and Bill declares that Liam's remarkable recovery is a miracle thanks to Grace Buckingham. Finn warns of possible complications and Liam and Bill both promise the patient won't overdo it. Finn asks if Dr. With them, Buckingham has discussed the need for physical therapy. Bill declares yet another miracle after she denies having. Finn grunts, yeah, his suspicions clearly growing. A new miracle. Finn says that this experimental treatment could change the way they treat all cancers. He can't believe he was unaware of it and that it came seemingly out of nowhere. Bill is pleased that he was able to give Liam hope, and Liam accepts being a guinea pig. When Finn finds out that Bill paid $1 million for the surgery, he is in shock. He asks Bill who he paid, but Bill shrugs and says he didn't pay attention. Liam remarks on Grace saving him after what her ex-husband did to him and Hope stealing their baby girl and letting them think she was dead. Finn's head seems to light up when Liam says it was to pay off gambling debts. What's happening with Grace? In her office, Grace hollers at someone through the phone that this is over. "Never bother me or my daughters again, do you hear me?" She disconnects and scans her head on her laptop with nervousness. Grace lashes out when a nurse knocks on the door and enters. She then apologizes and mentions that she is currently under a lot of pressure, possibly as a result of her recent fraud on Bill Spencer. Once alone, she picks up the phone and seemingly confirms just that as she tells her daughter Paris how much she loves her and there is nothing she wouldn't do for her and her sisters. She then deletes Liam's medical history after reviewing his scans once more. Finn gets on his laptop back in his office and discovers that everything in Liam's file since his brain bleed has been deleted. Meanwhile, in her office, Grace thinks back through telling Finn that Liam had an inoperable brain tumor and selling Bill on the experimental surgery. Suddenly, Finn appears. With a bit of a menacing grin, he reports that he was just at Bill's checking on Liam after such an invasive procedure. She says he's fortunate. Finn says he's also lucky Bill had $1 million to pay. "What's going on, Grace? I want answers and I want them now." As the drama heats up to its boiling point in both Italy and Los Angeles, the Bold and the Beautiful weaves a twisted web of lies, regrets, secrets, and betrayal. In Italy, the morning air was saturated with emotional residue as Ridge Forrester finally opened up to Brooke Logan, something he should have done long before now. Ridge finally acknowledged the bitterness he had left behind when he lashed out at her ascent to CEO while they were standing at the edge of a terrace with a view of the Amalfi Coast, the sun warming their faces and their past still faintly gleaming between them. Ridge admitted in a voice filled with regret that he had been foolish, that his love had been distorted by his jealousy and bruised ego, and that Brooke never deserved his silence or his judgment. "Is that all you came here to say, Ridge?" Brooke, guarded but still very close to him, responded to his confession with empathy, a gentle smile, and an even gentler coaxing. He was compelled to reveal what his heart had been avoiding by her voice, which was tinged with old ache and curiosity. But just as Ridge opened his mouth to respond, Nick Marone appeared, carefree and smirking, cutting through the moment like a crashing wave. With a casual, "Remember, we have plans for today?" Nick swooped in and pulled Brooke away like a tide reclaiming something that once belonged to it, leaving Ridge standing alone with words unsaid, his heart once again eclipsed by time and timing. While Brooke and Nick were enjoying gelatos and laughing like lovers in a postcard on the cobblestone streets of Naples, a storm was brewing elsewhere with disastrous outcomes. Eric Forrester spoke to Donna over the phone as he paced in their hotel suite with increasing frustration. Nick Marone's intentions were the source of his concern, not just rekindled romance or past love triangles. Eric had heard enough whispers and seen enough sparks to know something big was about to happen. And now, Nick's sudden return to Brooke's life, combined with his well-known impulsivity, was a sure sign of trouble. Donna gasped in disbelief when Eric told her that Brooke had been seen kissing Nick, something Donna could scarcely process. "Find Ridge," she demanded, "before Nick does something irreversible." And so, Eric did just that, sending out the call for Ridge as if sounding an alarm. He was unable to stand by and observe history repeat itself. He feared Nick had shown up with more than just romantic nostalgia. He feared Nick was armed with an engagement ring and a reckless desire to secure a future that didn't belong to him. In the meantime, Brooke and Nick were standing at the harbor together, her eyes wide with excitement but also clouded with uncertainty. Nick gestured toward the sleek boat that rocked gently in the Italian water. "All set," he grinned. "Merely the two of us." Brooke boarded the ship without realizing the devastation she was about to cause or Eric's insidious plan to thwart what he perceived as a ludicrous and desperate proposal. Another crisis was simmering in Bill Spencer's opulent living room, thousands of miles away, in the blissful silence. With his head bandaged once more, Liam Spencer appeared to be stuck between recovery and confusion as he reclined on the couch. His father hovered nearby, full of concern and misplaced relief. Bill kept praising Grace Buckingham's miracle work, emphasizing how lucky they were to have had her intervene at the right time. That miracle, however, was starting to look more like a mirage. John Finnegan entered the room with his medical bag, his expression of polite concern covering a tight expression of suspicion. His instincts flared as he examined Liam and heard the story again about the experimental procedure, the inoperable tumor, and the 1-in-a-million recovery. Something wasn't right. Finn's concern only got worse because of Bill's enthusiasm, especially when he casually revealed that he had wired $1 million to make Liam's surgery easier. Finn's eyebrows shot up. "To whom did you wire it?" he asked pointedly. Bill, oblivious to the rising tension, shrugged. "I paid little attention. Just wanted my son to live." Finn glanced at Liam, who nodded in agreement, praising Grace's determination and care. But something Liam said made Finn think of Grace's ex-husband and the baby switch scandal, about how she lied and manipulated to pay off gambling debts. Finn's heart stopped. He couldn't keep up with the rate at which the dots were joining together. Grace Buckingham, whose past has already cast a long shadow, may be involved in something much more sinister than anyone had anticipated. Grace was in a frenzy in her office at the hospital, barking at a phone caller. "This is finished. Never bother me or my daughters again." Before looking at Liam's brain scans, she yelled and slammed the receiver. Her hands trembled as she scrolled through files, guilt etched into every gesture. Grace quickly regained her composure, apologizing and citing pressure, despite the fact that a nurse walked in at the wrong time and was verbally abused. She called her daughter Paris again on her own and, her voice cracking, told her how much she loved her and that she would do anything for her and her sister's safety. Anything. That word echoed as she reopened Liam's medical file and deleted it. With just a few keystrokes, everything, from the initial diagnosis to the so-called surgery, vanished. She whispered to herself that it was for the greater good as she sat back in her chair, clearly shaken. However, rationalization alone cannot conceal the truth. In order to safeguard her own reputation and, possibly, the future of her family, she had conned a fortune out of Bill Spencer, carried out an operation that was never done, and played with a man's life.